So we're here to talk through this Thermo Sudoku puzzle. It's one of the most challenging ones we've posted, and so this being Halloween, it could be viewed as a trick or a treat by our solvers. A trick if you really like challenges, I guess. But one thing you'll notice is with it starting with no givens in the grid, you probably want to focus on ones or nines to begin. That's pretty obvious in a Thermo Sudoku puzzle where the presence of a circle or presence of an end limit you to be able to use 1 or 9, and so one of the first things people might notice, for instance, is that a 1 has to be somewhere here in this column, in the middle group. In the bottom, a 1 has to be in this middle row. Can't be elsewhere. Over here, you have 3 choices for where the 1 sits. Now that these intersect, we have 2 choices for where the 1 sits. There's even an observation about this row that the 1 has to be on the left or the right. And all of those are good observations to make. None of them, unfortunately, will get you first digit in the grid, so we can try to do the same thing with 9s. The most remarkable thing probably at the start about 9s is that one of the 3 cells in this middle column are 9. There are no potential ends in the other 6 cells in this region, so that's why the 9 sits there. We can't, now we have, for instance, in this row, the 9 isn't in that cell, but still has 3 potential cells. So there's a lot of places in this region. The 9 has 4 choices, the 9 has 4 choices. So still a little too much to do. The next thing you're often tempted to do, and it works pretty well in this puzzle, is to take some of the more limited thermometer shapes and write the range of digits that they can contain. This one on the right side of the jack-o'-lantern is one of the better places to start. It has just 2 choices for each cell. Because it's 8 cells long, that has a 1 or 2 as the beginning and 8 or 9 as the end, in an ascending series as you go forth. You can do a similar thing with some of the other thermometer shapes. This one over here, because it's 7 long, starts with 3 choices for each cell that come up. 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9. This one is 6 long. We normally have a lot more choices you want to fill in, but because we've already eliminated 1 as the first digit, it's actually not so horrible to start with the 2, 3, 4 option and write the remaining ones in. This is just, in a puzzle like this, you'll often see that there are pairs or triples set up along the thermometer, so writing in your ranges can be helpful, and that's certainly something I chose to do. The trick is not actually about 1s or 9s in this puzzle. The trick is to go 1 digit higher and recognize something here after it's sort of written in the grid here, and you can think about the teeth of the jack-o'-lantern, sort of unusual shape. Where can a 2 go in this region? It can't be in the top, it can't be at the bottom. A 2 has to also be in this middle group, and that now comes over and eliminates that 2 candidate for that cell, and we can just start writing. And it's not that this will get us a ton of digits, but it gets us our first foothold in the puzzle. You'll almost certainly write these 7 digits as the first ones in the grid. We got a 3 up top. This actually makes a 1-2 pair in these cells. So we can erase the 2 at the start over here. This now actually is an ascending series with just 2 options left. You'll notice if there's a 1-2 down here and a 1-2 over here, there's a 1-2 in these cells. The 1 can't be in the first and the left, so it's actually here and here. A different way you can get to that is we've placed this 3 in this cell. Has to be a 3 in the middle somewhere. Can't be in this row, can't be down here. So this has to be a 3, that has to be a 2. That gives you the 1, and then just digit eliminations gives you the other entry in that spot. We still have some work to go, but we might as well track when we put digits on one side, how do they influence candidates in the other set. So this 5 actually eliminates the lowest of the 3 options for the sets. We now have a 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9 situation over here. The 6 eliminates the topmost set, so if this is now 4, 5, the one above it must be 3, 4. One above that must be 2, 3. We've already placed a 2 in this region, so we can erase the 2. And from being pinned from the top with the 6 here and from below with the 2 there, this thermometer shape actually starts with a 3 in this cell. We don't know if it's a 1 or 2 above, but we can write in the 3, 4, 5. That's the second piece of progress most solvers will make. This being hard, this being maybe not as hard, but sort of these two spots in a row are where you'll get started. Now we have a little more we can do in this corner, particularly because this cell is seen by the 3, 4, 5, and we have a 3, 4 coming over. There's going to be a 3, 4 in these cells, and the 5 is going to sit in the remaining one. Just put in the deduction there. This is a 6, 7, 8, 9. We don't know which, but this triple ends up being off on the side there. We have 2 5s in these rows. We need a 5 down here. The thermometer constrains it to be in the left. We have 2 4s in these rows. 2 spots can go in, but the thermometer constrains it to be in the left. Let's just put in the limits on the cell like this. This can be a 7 or 8 and 8 or 9. And for now, that's about as far as that's going to take us. The next trick in this puzzle is to come back to the center row, in the row 2, the center of the top chute of rows that needs to have a 9 somewhere in it. The 9 is not in these bottom cells, so there's a 9 somewhere up top here, and there's a 9 somewhere left over there. We've also marked that the 9 is effectively in one of these 2 cells in the bottom, and so where does it belong in this column? It's got just one spot left to it, which is right here. That's perhaps not the critical deduction itself so much as now the 8 in this region only has one spot, and so it actually eliminates an option for itself, which comes to here and there. The 8 is in this column in this region. It's in this column in this region, so it's going to be one of these 3 cells, but there's no larger digit than 8 left, so it's going to be in the top. We have a 4 and 5 and 4 and 5. We want to place as notes in this space. Can this be a 5? Well, that would require 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The 3 is an issue right now, so it can't be a 5. It also obviously can't be a 4. So we get a 4, 5 pair up top. We have 2 3s. We want to place a note for them. It's obvious it's not in the center, so there's a 3 that's over there. 1, 2. One of these is a 1 and 2. We get a 1, 2, 1, 2 note over here. And we're left with just 2 digits in this region. They're going to be a forced order, 7 on the outside, then 6. Last digit in the column there. I'm just filling it in for completion's sake. Let's work backwards now from this end to this bulb. That seems useful. Or actually, we can do it a somewhat faster step here. We still need to place a 1 in this row, and the only place left now that we filled this cell is right there. That actually gives us a few digits pretty quickly. Now we have this scenario, which is this row needs a 2, and we now have a smallest cell, and it's going to be growing outwards as we go. So this is the 2. The 3 in the middle can't be in any spot but there. The 5 has to be somewhere coming out. So what digit can this be? It has to be smaller than 6. The only one left for it is 4. This is 5, 8. We have 2 3s, so we can force those digits into the grid at this moment. We've got some 3s up here, and we've got some 4s, so let's try to place those. The 3s cancel this to this column, left with 1 spot there, 3 coming up, 1 spot there. I've already made a note about a 1 being in one of these 2 cells. It's now the top cell cleanly. This bulb at a 2 coming down has to be a 1. So now in this region in the center, the 1 is in one of the lower cells. So the 1 is in row 4 on the left side. What can the rest of these digits here be? So this bottom one can be a 2, can be a 3, 4, 5. If it's a 6, that's too much. It's forced to actually complete this thermometer to be a 2. What can this be? It can't be a 3, can't be a 4, can't be a 5, must be less than 7. So if it is a 6, we'll temporarily jump over here. 2 has to be up top. What else can these numbers be? coming over and coming down. So this can be a 2, this could be a 4. Can't be a 5, 6, 7, or 8, and that's now too large, so this is cleanly a 2, 4. If this is a 2, the next one up could be a 3, already used, so the smallest it can be is a 4. Have 6, 7, it could be 5. All the other digits are canceled, can't be an 8, get to a 9. So it's something like this. 4, 5, the next digit up would be a 5, 6, or 8. Looking at this cell, though, we see that 6 and 8 are canceled in this row. We have 6, 8, 5, 6, 8. This must be the only potential 5 left. We get the fact that a 5 is in one of these cells. Now let's just actually clean up some of the work we've done and just haven't put into the puzzle. We have knowledge of that 1 and that 2. The 2 over here is going to be in the top. This needs a 4, 6, 7. I don't have any of those around. This is a 6, 7, 8, 9. The 9's already been placed. The 9 still has to get into this row. So that's down here. 9 has to get into this region. That's right there. Let's move those over this way. The 8 is somewhere in this column, so this is a 6, 7. Don't know much more than that at the moment. We still have a fair bit of options throughout the grid and not a quick resolution for many of them. We have marked the 2 2s in these columns, though, so we can place the final 2 there, place the final 1 here, places a 1 there. This is a place where we actually, 6, 7, 8, we have a triple in these cells, so it looks like we have 5, 9 in those. I'm not yet seeing that I can do enough of that in the grid, but it's worth noting. Everything's always worth noting in a challenging puzzle like this. We have 4, 4, 4, 1 place left for a 4. That actually is finally the deduction we wanted, so there's the 5, 9 being resolved. 2's on the left, so 2 up top is on the right. This has a 4, 9 to be placed. It's going to go like this. We have 6, 7, 8 is what's left here. The 6 has been placed. That's 8, 8, 6. This is 7, 9. 7 is there, 9 is there. The 7 now clears the entire bottom. The remaining digit there is an 8, so this order is 6, 7. 8's another 8 up top, 6, 7. Here's a 6. 6 is there, the last digit in that column is a 5. That gives us another 5. Gives us a 4, gives us a 4, gives us a 7, 7, 8. And we've managed to score whatever was hidden in this jack-o'-lantern, candy or not. I hope you learned a little bit something about how to solve a challenging puzzle like this, and hope to see you again.